afternoon. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio. We're your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television two different ways. You can find us in the Albertville, the Marshall County area on channel 182 on Charter Communications. And then worldwide, we're syndicated on Abundant TV, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. We're here with one of my favorite guests, and his name is Doug McGee, and he is with Second Chance Animal Shelter. Hey, Doug, how are you doing?
Great. That describes it today.
Now that we finally got you on, so we are excited. I was sweating that one out. I was like, man, I can't have my month without Doug now. We've got to have Doug on the show.
Of course, I have to have help. I'm not like you. I have to have help getting on, but still, it worked out great. Wonderful.
Yeah, but you know what? The answer to everything computerized, turn it off. Turn the computer off, back on again. That fixes probably about 95% of the problems.
Used to when I was growing up, the answer to everything was hit it with a hammer. Like something like wasn't working. You hit it with, that's what I remember my dad always saying, just tap it with a hammer. So I guess turn it off.
Sometimes that's the only solution you got. So now, Doug, we have a lot of new listeners. We've got people all over the country, basically all over the world are listening right now. So what is Second Chance Animal Shelter? What's it about?
We are the only hope, for the most part, that dogs in North Alabama have. We're not the only hope, but that's what we do. We provide hope that they will not be put down because their stray hold is up at the vet. We just took 27 to Wisconsin. Me and Wanda left Friday and drove all the way to Wisconsin. And then they're part of that system of hope up in Wisconsin. So, yeah, we're a no-kill shelter in Boaz, Alabama, and we're trying to just make the situation better.
Well, you guys also serve people all over the country because you just mentioned Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. So how is your outreach? What can you do for other folks across the country?
Well, we will transport dogs pretty much anywhere. I wouldn't doubt that there's a dog from Second Chance in every state in the country. I know we got someone in Canada. Sometimes we lose track because people might adopt a dog and then they move. But I would not doubt at this point, 15,000 dogs have gone through here. I wouldn't doubt that there are dogs from North Alabama that have been nationwide. Sometimes we're here. I know we got one in Nebraska and New Mexico. So I would just think that probably by now. Of course, we never know. Oh, I actually got a dog that you was riding on the USA truck. A guy drove for USA Trucking, came in here and adopted a dog. And the first night he called me from Kentucky. So at least we probably had a dog see every state in the country. He's on the dog. He says it's just great riding and eating beef jerky as he drove down the road. So.
That's amazing. Do you think he may have heard you on the show, or did he just happen to find you on the internet?
Well, he was delivering he had a truckload of chicken that was coming over here to the chicken plant, and he stopped and he went in, and the girls there were talking about Second Chance, like the dock workers. And he said, "Why do you want the dog?" So he called us, and he couldn't even get his truck down our dirt road. I had to meet him and bring him up here. And he got that little dog, and I cannot remember. Spike is what I'm thinking the dog's name was, but I'm not sure on that. But that was years ago. I would imagine the dog's probably gone on to heaven. I would think by now, but maybe not. It was a neat little dog.
I like the name Spike. I just think that's a good name for a dog.
And he had a personality. When the guy actually saw him, he had just gotten to a little tiff with his roommate in the kennel, and his ear was bloody. And the guy said, and he liked his nature. And he said he took him home before he went to Kentucky, and all the people at his home, they wanted to keep him at home, but he took him in the truck with him. So, he's running the roads. Well, he's like I said, by now I would imagine he's probably gone, but you never know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some dogs live to a ripe old age, don't they? Now let's talk about how Second Chance Animal Shelter actually started.
Well, I had a conversation with a lady in Wisconsin about this the other day. Spur of the moment, excuse me, no real thought. Just I was working at the police department as a police officer in Albertville, Alabama, and somebody called the police department. It was somebody dropped some puppies off at a house, and he wanted animal control to come pick them up. And I happened to answer the phone because the dispatcher was busy. I walked in and she was busy, and when I knew that, I knew then, this is in 2008, if Animal Control had picked up those puppies in 2008 in Albertville, they would have been put down before the day was out. That's the way things used to go. So I called Wanda, my wife, and I said, hey, can we take these puppies in? Because if not, they're not going to make it through the day. I said, they're going to die today. And she said, bring them on. It was that, I promise you, there was no more forethought. It was just, our life changed like that. Because once it got started, then it just went haywire. But I went and picked them up, put them in the back seat of my patrol car, and took them to the house. And we were clueless. We just knew we had 6 puppies at the house. So we went down to a flea market nearby and gave some away. And we were just we were completely blinded. And then what happened, I told Animal Control when he came back in about what we'd done, he said, it's fine. But then when he started finding dogs that were good dogs that he knew that were going to be put down, the first was a dog named Toby. I remember that, a Newfoundland that kept climbing out of its fence. And he told me, I was eating breakfast, he said, I'm going to have to pick that dog up and take it and have it put down unless you want it. Well, we took it and found it at home in Pearl City, Alabama. And he's probably gone by now. But then it started, and then just accelerated. And then we started going to the pound and seeing all those little kennels with a little index card on said euthanize on whatever date. And we couldn't leave them. So we'd pick them up, bring them out here. Then we started having kennels in their yard and dogs in our house. It just exploded, and it's still exploding. That explosion still hadn't stopped.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there was just really and truly, of all the things I've done in my life, I planned on going into the military. I planned on becoming a police officer. I very seldom do things been spur of the moment. Like I'm kind of a planner by nature. This started on a just a whim. And here we are 15 years later at 15,000 dogs or 16,000 dogs through the shelter, a staff, and all on something that I've no more planned than waking up that day.
It's a godsend. It definitely is. I mean, you're following God's guidance. As a matter of fact, have you ever heard of the group 3 on a String?
I have.
Okay, we went to see them in Guntersville over the weekend, and we met with our mayor right here in Geraldine, Chuck Abels, and his awesome wife, Catherine. So we all got to go see them. So there was one song they sang, and I thought of you, Doug. They sang a song. Yeah, I think he just made this up, and the song was it's God, God, and then dog, Dog. And so I'm going to find that song. I'm going to send it to you. I think you'll really like it. And it was about, God up in heaven watching over us, and then turn it right around. Dog, dog. Dogs love us. I mean, they love you unconditionally like God does.
I'll tell you, here's something. I'm not going to show you the name of the company because I don't think they like to be known. 15 years ago, we started, and it was me and Wanda. Everything was, we bought the dog food. Our salaries paid for the kennels and all that. And we just kind of, grew. But right here in my hand, I mean, the other day, I was sweating money. I'm the guy now that sweats finances. I'm always like, oh, you do this. That's why my blood pressure is like 800 over 400. But anyways, right here this morning, this is a check from a company in Columbus, Ohio. Never met anybody for $10,000, and we got it this morning. This is something that comes every year. They have taken us under their wing, and that's where what's happened. And that's not, to me, that shows that the universe, God is looking out for us. Because that money right there will go buy dog food. We're working on getting a van. We'll do all those things and keep us moving. So, we get support from around all across everywhere. And the other day we needed dog food. I put a thing on Facebook, and everybody stepped up and brought dog food. It's just really, I like to think I'm in charge of this, but really and truly, I'm a pawn. I'm being used, and that's okay.
You're a servant.
That's exactly the way I feel. I mean, I still can't help but sweat money. I mean, and I fight that urge, but I'm constantly worried about how to pay for everything. Because right now we got close to 300 dogs, and I know they've got to eat. I know they got to be watered, and we got to have people take care of them. Well, that's not free. So I try my best to say, okay, it's out of my hands. I don't have to worry about it, but I'm working on it.
Well, you just mentioned, people helping you guys out. Now, people can volunteer.
We have a lot of volunteers. I think last time I looked, last week, we're real close to 2,000 people have come out here and help us work. Some are employees, but I would say 1,900 have been volunteers. The people from everywhere. Some only come one day and it's not their thing. Some come for years and work. So yeah, volunteers are definitely a huge part of what we do. We need the help. You got to have a certain level of employees to make sure there's consistent care for the dogs, but volunteers can sure supplement that, and a good consistent volunteer can make all the difference in the world. So, and all of our, we send all our dogs to Wisconsin, and those are all volunteers up there. There's probably 40 people up there that foster dogs and find homes for them. They don't draw any salary at all. They're all volunteers. So that's a good thing. And we just picked up, we have one group called Second Chance North, and then two more groups that have heard about them that are also pulling dogs from us. We were at 2, now we're at 3. So we're hoping that keeps growing. The more dogs we can get out to Wisconsin or somewhere else, the better off we are.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We're going to have to go into a commercial break. So we're already at half of the show. So let's get ready to go into a commercial break. And then we're going to be right back in just a few minutes. Everybody hang tight. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. Let Rhonda at Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC take the burden off you for all your tax needs. I know because Rhonda has been taking care of my business since 2013. I feel Rhonda works for me because she knows the direct questions to ask to better benefit my unique business in order for me to get back the biggest refund possible. Rhonda is an ongoing student, and she knows tax laws are in a constant change every year. Call 256-281-9903 for an appointment to take the dread out of getting your taxes done. Rhonda is located at 11968 U.S. Highway 431 in Boaz. Again, that number is 256-281-9903. And let Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC champion your personal and business taxes.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and my employees and I want to thank each and every one of you for your continued support. With everything going on right now, your rest is so important. That's why we're having the biggest MyPillow sale ever. Not only are my bed pillows as low as $19.98, but you can get the best body pillows ever. Regular $89.98, now only $29.98. Take your rest on the go with our Roll and Go Anywhere MyPillows for only $14.98. And we have our new couch and accent pillows. They aren't just for looks. They have MyPillow's patented adjustable fill that gives you that amazing MyPillow comfort. In this economy, you get the best gifts ever for the best prices ever. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code and you get deep discounts on body, couch, bolster pillows, and so much more, including my original bed pillows for as low as $19.98. Please order now while quantities last.
The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. Begin a great year and save big money with these specials at Albertville Foodland Plus. A 5-pound bag of red or gold potatoes, only $2.99 each. Warm up with Campbell's Chunky Soup, 2 for $4. Slim down with gold salads, only $2.99 each. And make sure to check out the deli with fresh veggies and tasty pork chops or hand-battered chicken fingers, only $5.99. Check us out on the web at shop.foodlandgrocery.com. We are back. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, In Christ Radio. We're your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, a couple different ways. Channel 182 on Charter Communications, which is in North Alabama, out there in your neck of the woods out there, Doug. You can also find us on Abundance TV, which is syndicated. So we're all over the country, basically all over the world. So we appreciate you listening to us and watching us on television. I have a very special friend with me right now, Doug McGee, and Doug is with Second Chance Animal Shelter. Now, there's also another component to this place, and it's huge, and her name is Wanda McGee. So what does Wanda McGee do out there?
Wanda is, she's a driving force for certain. I mean, if it wasn't for Wanda, the shelter would not be here. I mean, she is definitely but Wanda's she can't help but be busy and work. That's just her nature. So she's out there cleaning kennels and taking care of dogs. Now, I've said for a lot of years, why do you do that? Why aren't you? Because she's more the manager. She managed the McDonald's for like 25 years in Albertville. And so she is a manager type, but she's always a working manager. And she says she loves taking care of the dogs. I really didn't enjoy that too. I mean, I enjoyed it. I would rather pet them than have to clean up their poop, but she really enjoys. A lot of days I say, why are you doing that? We've got enough people. Why are you out there cleaning? And that's where her passion in her heart is. I love the dogs. Wanda really, really loves the dogs. I mean, she really bonds with them, and she wants to find them a good home, and I do too. But hers is just like there's a big gap. I mean, she is definitely the passionate driving force, and all the workers here love her because she is a very hard working. She don't stop.
She works by example.
Do what?
She works by example. I mean, she really does. They say her passion, and so that's the neat thing about your employees or volunteers. If they see her passion, that's going to give them more ammunition. They're going to go out and make things happen.
And they do, and we really, Wanda gets up normally 4 to 4:30 in the morning. She's up. Within 5 minutes, she's responding to emails or things like that and then somewhere around 6 o'clock, she's heading to the shelter and she works. She doesn't stop. Now, when she gets home at nighttime, 30 minutes after she's home, she goes to bed and sleeps like a baby. She's a very driven, hardworking person. Anybody that hired somebody like Wanda, if you've got anybody with that same kind of energy, you've done well, no doubt.
And you will do anything you can to keep them.
That's why she was the manager at McDonald's, because she's just so focused and driven on things. The big thing is, hey, where's Wanda? Ask Wanda. Well, that's what you hear all day. That's probably more common than dogs barking is, where's Wanda? Ask Wanda. She does it. She handles she handles things. So, I mean, the dogs are lucky to have her. She got an award 2 years ago. She got an award for women who shaped Alabama. There was 30 34 or 36 women across the state that they picked who had kind of helped shape the course of the state of Alabama, and they selected her, and it was rightfully so. She really had.
Absolutely. No doubt. No
yeah.
doubt. Now let me ask you a question about either adopting or fostering animals. How does that work?
Adoptions are real simple. You know, I've heard a lot of people go into different other shelters and there are restrictions on adopting. Some people say there's easier to adopt a child than from some.
And that's hard.
Yeah, we are not like that. We're pretty much here. Our thing is, I've heard a survey years ago that like 98% of the people who come to a shelter to adopt are well-meaning, and that's just what we assume. When you come here to adopt, we want to adopt a dog to you. We don't look for, we want to, that's just, but we do have a few requirements. If you have to chain a dog up, that's one of the things that we would not adopt you if you're going to stick your dog on a chain and have it. It's just not what we consider humane treatment. So we wouldn't do that. We'll have to get rid of that phone. But then that's one of the requirements. Our adoption fee is $60. Which is the dogs are microchipped, spayed, neutered. They've had all their shots. We just started microchipping. And before I go on, I want to tell you 2 stories. Microchips pay off. I'm telling you right now, if your dog is not microchipped, I want people to consider it. We had one dog that they found them at the Crossroads Mall in Albertville. There were 2 dogs together. We scanned them. It had a chip in it. The chip came back to a breeder in Georgia. We called them. He said he'd adopted a dog to a man in Albertville. So we tried, and he had died on Sunday, and his dogs had got this day. He died on February 5th, and his dogs got loose. I guess they wondered what, so they got out of the pen, and we contacted the family, not knowing if they wanted a dog, but they came and got them, and they were happy to see the dogs, even though they were grieving. But microchipping is what connected us with the dog. And then the other one, we were in Wisconsin, another rescue group called. They said, "Here, we got this dog that's got your chip on it." So we had to look up our records and find the owner, and that dog went home. So microchipping is a good method of keeping up with your dogs.
I know my son and daughter-in-law have a cat, and they had that cat microchipped too, just because I'm gonna tell you, that's my grandcat. I mean, I have no grandchildren, but I have grandpets. So
microchipping a cat. I don't know how easy. Microchipping a dog is easy. We do it. I don't know. The wrong cat that could be a fight.
They took this cat to PetSmart, I think.
Oh,
and
okay.
that's in Raleigh, North Carolina. And
microchip your cat. No, do not do this at home.
So how do you microchip a dog?
It's just basically a syringe, and it goes right behind their neck or right in this area, and it must be a slight uncomfortableness. The dogs, they don't normally get, but it's about the size of a grain of rice, and it just stays in there, and the chip is registered to us, and then when we adopt, if that person chooses to put it in their name, they can, but it would always come back to us. So if we get the information, we can call the person that we adopted the dog to. I mean, I think they're really good. In collars, a lot of times we get a dog and the tag has come off the collar. Collars used to be the way they did it, tag collar, but most dogs, if we show up with a collar, there's no tag on it. So we can't tell who the dog is. Brings up when people come, you wouldn't realize how many calls we get from people who say, "Hey, I've lost my dog. Have y'all got it?" He answers to Bobby or whatever the name. And I hear that a lot. And every time I hear it, I think, I don't know if that's, I could go out the door and say, "Hey, Bobby," and I'd have 200 dogs barking. I do. I know the dog's name, the dog answers. We hear that. Oh, if he answers to so-and-so. And I'm going like, any dog, I don't know how important names are to dogs. And if they comprehend, I think it's more of a tone. But if I went out that door, I could say, "Come here, Bobby." And I bet every dog out here would be like, "Hey, right now I'm Bobby." I don't know. It amazes me how people think that the name means. I don't know. I guess I'm just being silly.
I think they're in love with their owner's voice. I think that's what it is. They'll pick up and also the sound of a car. Buddy, before Phil retired, he used to work at Lowe's in Guntersville. Buddy, and the sound of Phil's car, like a mile or a half a mile off, and he would turn on 75 to come home on County Road 23. He would start barking. And right then, it's always said that he had to have known the sound of the car. And then, I mean, I would go and look at it and say, what's he barking at? Right then, Phil would be coming in. I mean, you'd see him coming in from down the road. So I think they operate on sound and the sound of your voice and your voice inflection and that kind of thing. Because sometimes, like so we have a cat and a dog. So we have Greenlee's the cat. Well, sometimes Greenlee wants to get into Buddy's food. So you'll say, no, Greenlee, that's Buddy's food. Well, Greenlee could care less. He'll just look at you like, so what? But if you say something like, if Buddy gets into Greenlee's food, we'll say, no, Buddy, you just got into Greenlee's food. You're not supposed to do that. And Buddy, he'll be shamed. He'll start looking off, acting like he's sorry for what he did. So there's just something about, I think, the tone of your voice.
When we came back from Wisconsin, we've got at our house, we got 5 dogs and 4 cats. And the dogs, you walk in and our dogs are all excited to see us. They're just all going crazy. Cats, I couldn't even find them. The cats were, oh, you're home. They look your way. Oh, you're home. Well, good or whatever. Our cats, they are completely different.
They are. It's kind of like, you're lucky I'm living here.
They are. And in fact, when I start counting animals when I get home, and it took me, I had to find our one black cat that's just so mean. I had to find her. I mean, she was hiding out somewhere, but I had to make sure she was still there. It's still there. So they are completely different. You gotta love them. You back to fostering. We also need fosters. And a foster is a person that takes a dog from the shelter and temporarily holds it until we can find it a home. And we need fosters. We really want to build a foster program. If anybody wants to volunteer big time and become a volunteer foster coordinator, hey, fostering it's going to save a lot of shelters. On the way back from Wisconsin, we stopped at a truck stop in Kentucky, and there was a stray dog running around. And the lady said it had been there all day. And somebody threw it out, obviously. And, of course, I know what Wanda's thinking. We thought we're going to have one more Kentucky dog in Alabama before the evening. And it disappeared. While we were there, we couldn't find it again. But I asked the girl, I said, well, what do you do with the stray dog? So, well, normally we call animal control. And I said, and I bet they kill it, don't they? And she said, no, not here. She said, in Kentucky, she said, where we are, fosters have come in and taken over their shelter, animal control. They're all no kill in that little county. I wish I knew what county it was, but the fosters are what saved that shelter. They don't have to hold them at the pound anymore. They get them in the foster home, and there they work out networking them and all that. So fosters are definitely something we really need. In fact, we got one hospice foster. We got a dog that's dying, as sad as that is, and we'd really rather for it to die in somebody's home instead of here at the shelter. So
just a few seconds left. How can folks find out more about you?
Go to Second Chance Shelter on Facebook. We're the one in Boaz. Come visit us. We're in Boaz, Alabama, just off Highway 168, or call us at 256-561-2411, and we'll answer any questions, guide you to how you can find out more. We'd love to hear from you, and we need your help, support, volunteers, anything you can do. Hey, it's all good.
There you go. Doug McGee, Second Chance Animal Shelter, and Wanda McGee with Second Chance Animal Shelter. Thank you so much for being on the show today. I look forward to seeing you again next week.
Hey, I'll be here with bells on. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And thank you for watching. Bye, Doug. See you later. Tell Wanda hey for me.
I can catch her.